Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Freddy, Director of Marketing at Tabono Law, and we're here today for another installment of Grounds for Good, a partnership between Tabono Law and Legal Grounds Coffee House, where we donate $1,000 each month to a local nonprofit making a difference in our community. This month, we're honored to highlight the Muskegon Rescue Mission, an organization that has been serving individuals and families in need throughout the community for many years. Joining us today are Sean Cook, the managing attorney and CEO of Tabono Law, as well as owner of Legal Grounds. And then we have Sam Stevens, who is the general manager of Legal Grounds Coffee House. Then, of course, we have Jonathan Scouten, who is our representative from the Muskegon Rescue Mission. So thank you so much for coming here. And I mean, we're excited to connect with you and do some good for the mission.
So super excited to talk to you, Jonathan, and to have the opportunity to devote some funds you guys' way. We'll be excited to hear about some of the things that are coming up. I know that we got an invite, so I'm kind of happy to hear that you're going to talk about that. So we're just thrilled that we have this opportunity. So thank you.
Mhm.
Sam, what are you going to say?
Yeah. Yeah, it was my month to kind of pick where the grounds for good was going to go towards. And I just for me it was like the Muskegon Mission. That was huge. I saw your guys' work kind of all throughout the winter with the terrible harsh winter we had and making sure that people were warm and fed and taken care of. I mean, we need it more than ever right now. And yeah, so I only really thought of one place to send it to. So
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So please let us know about the mission and what you guys do.
Yeah, so we're Muskegon Rescue Mission. We are a homeless shelter here in Muskegon County, which is what a lot of people know about. We provide emergency meals and shelter and clothing for individuals and families in need. And really, what I'm excited to share about is that there's so much more to the work that we do than just those things. And so, like I said, most people think of those things, emergency meals and shelter and clothing. We've been doing that for 119 years. We're one of the oldest charities in West Michigan. And it's always been at the heart of what we do. But deeper than that is just the work that takes place to move somebody from that place of crisis and instability to a place of stability and independence back in our community. And so working through things like case management and getting the guests that we're serving connected with local partners so that they can get the tools and the resources that they need to move out of that crisis that they're in. We believe that that's temporary, and we want to help create a firm foundation for these individuals to just get reintegrated back into the community with a job, with housing, and the tools that they need. And so over the last 5 to 8 years, we've really started looking at the work that we're doing and just trying to expand on that and not just looking at homelessness as an isolated issue, but really as a symptom of a bigger problem. We believe that we can help you with your homelessness, but if we don't treat the root cause of poverty in your life, we're going to continue to see that cycle repeat over and over again. And so that's where the real work comes in, is getting individuals and families the help that they need to break out of that cycle. And sometimes that can take longer than others. But that's what our team is here for, and that's the work that we're doing. And so, in addition to the shelters, we have our community resource center, which is where a lot of that case management takes place. We have between 50 and 60 partners that are working with us at the community center. And then we also, 3 years ago, opened up our Bright Futures daycare and preschool, which is helping low-income families but be able to really afford to go back to work without the burden of the high cost of childcare. And so we have about 50 kids enrolled in our daycare and preschool, which then allows their parents to get a job, receive that promotion, and also at the same time, their kids are being prepared for school, which really sets the trajectory then for the rest of their life when they're prepared to start school on schedule. So many incredible things that we're doing. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was just the opportunity to come and see the mission. I can sit here and explain it to you, but really until you come and see firsthand and we can give you a tour, it's hard to kind of picture how all of that works together. And so right now we're hosting a monthly lunch and tour. It's on the third Wednesday of every month. And it's just an opportunity to come and enjoy a complimentary lunch, and then see firsthand a tour of, we actually just finished renovations on our men's shelter and on our food pantry. So you can come see that, come see the community resource center and the daycare, have a chance to answer or ask any questions that we can answer for you. And just see on a firsthand basis the work that's taking place here. So the next one is on March 18th, and then it's every third Wednesday of every month, and you can just register on our website. It's muskegonmission.org. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Very awesome. So I wanted to talk about this just a little bit, Jonathan, because sometimes people have an idea that homelessness or lack of shelter is always related to a substance abuse problem, or perhaps some kind of action of an individual that caused them to be in that situation. And there are those circumstances. We recognize that sometimes that occurs. But I think in my advanced age, one of the things that kind of came to me is how close so many people are to being without proper shelter, or being without that next meal, or having access. And they don't realize how fragile our system is right now.
Mhm.
That so many people are on the cusp, and even working people who are, maybe still only making $15, $16 an hour, which used to be a decent amount, but can't afford an apartment, can't afford any place to stay, can't afford a vehicle, can't afford transportation, might not even live in an area where there is public transportation. And I was hoping you'd talk a little bit about that,
Yeah.
because I think we as a society, because we always want to protect our own brains and say it couldn't be me, how close so many of us are
Yeah.
to that being a reality, and why you guys are so important.
Yeah, so great question. I would say, and we talk about this frequently, that so much of our community is really one or two missed paychecks away from having to face that. Um, and, I think right now, one thing that we can all feel is just like the high cost of groceries. No matter how much money you're making, I think we all notice it. Whether it impacts you more or less, you at least notice like, wow, I'm paying more than I did 3 years ago or even last year for the same cart of groceries. And so now imagine that you are making minimum wage or, not much more than that. And you're having to make decisions on bills and utilities and rent and groceries and childcare. That strain becomes even more so. And so we're really seeing that, especially in our food pantry right now. I know last year we just finished up our annual report for 2025. We saw a 42% increase in the amount of families that are visiting our food pantry with need for food assistance. And so we're seeing it. We're not the only food pantry in town that's seeing that increased need. And so many people that maybe have never had to ask for help before are now coming to us and asking for help.
Right, right. I appreciate you saying that. And I just think sometimes, you have one vehicle repair, and you can't afford to repair the vehicle, or
Yeah.
you have one eviction and then no one else will take you into any kind of housing based upon that eviction. And it may even be that you can afford something, but they won't allow you in. So just so many dynamics, and how close people are to that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you guys are not just, as you said, crisis intervention, but you're also solution oriented. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to touch on too, you mentioned transportation. That's one of the reasons why we started our community resource center, is because there's a lot of incredible organizations, nonprofits and for-profits in our community that offer tools and services to people in need. The problem is that they're scattered throughout the county. And so again, somebody that's relying on public transportation, that can be really challenging, to navigate that, potentially with kids in tow, to think about trying to get from an appointment on one side of town to the other. Now all of a sudden that becomes a barrier to you accessing the help that's available. So with the community center, what we've done is made our space available for community partners to come and offer the classes and services and tools that they already have on site. So now the guests and the people that we're serving just have to make it to one spot. because likely if they need help from one organization, whether it's financial or education or healthcare, dental services, they probably need to connect with others that are there too. And so now you can do that all right on site, which has just been really incredible to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Sam, do you have any other thoughts before we allow Mr. Scoten to get back at it?
Yeah, I think it'll probably sound like a broken record a little bit doing these grounds for good, but yeah, legal grounds is kind of focused on, that whole community aspect. And I think one of the big things about community, what it can provide, is making people feel less alone in that community. So I think it's really important, when someone's going through something like, homelessness, not being able to get a warm food, stay warm. Outside of that, it's just the loneliness that comes with it. And I think introducing, places like the Mission and other options Muskegon that some people might not know about. I think that's a huge part in, building community for everyone and making sure that everyone has a place to go. That's what we try to do with the coffee shop and stuff too. Try to make it a place where, life might not seem as heavy, and you guys do, the really hard work in making sure that people are taken care of, and yeah, I think that's just about it. Yeah, community is the main focus for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then volunteer opportunities are obviously there.
Mhm.
Like I think we served at the men's shelter. We served lunch there and things like that. So I know I've
Yeah.
connected with your volunteer coordinator. So lots of opportunities there too, that was really fun and fulfilling to do that for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think just to kind of cap things off, people always ask, well, what can I do? Like, you guys are doing so much, how can I get involved? Obviously, donations, like, we're completely privately funded by the support of our community. So it takes every little bit of support that we can get from churches and businesses and individual donors. Like you guys, we wouldn't be able to do it without your support. But then volunteers, I know we had around 500 volunteers last year that served around 8,000 volunteer hours. The work we do, again, wouldn't be possible without all of the volunteers who make this go around. And so many incredible volunteers. I could spend hours talking to you about all the ways that volunteers impact the work that we do here. And then just simple things like hosting a drive, putting together a drive with your business or your church or just your friend group or your neighborhood. Really, anything is great, whether it's cold weather gear when we're in the cold weather months, pantry items, things like socks and gloves and hats and mittens. All of that, again, helps make the work that we do possible. And so many ways to get involved. And that's where coming and being a part of one of the tours is a great way to see then what is a good fit for me. And we have so many people that leave those tours that one thought they knew what we did, but then they also leave with, I have to do something now. I need to bring someone back to this. I need to think about how I'm giving financially to charities in our community. How can I volunteer? And so that's why we're just encouraging as many people as possible to come and see firsthand the work taking place.
Well, that sounds like a call to action, Jonathan, and I
Yeah.
love it. So, all right, we were so excited to do this today. Thank you for your time, Jonathan, and we look forward. I know I'm on the list to get a tour at the Mission, but in the meantime, we just want to thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay, bye for now.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Yep.